How's it going, everybody? GG Sports Podcast fans, Vikings fans, and people who may be watching this channel for the first time. When this video comes out, it will officially be the 1-year anniversary of our first video here on YouTube, the GG Sports Podcast page. And man, what a first year it has been, man. It's been a lot of fun.
Awesome.
I mean, obviously, if you guys know us, if you don't, we'll explain it quick how we came together. Vikings fans met in college. I was doing some other YouTube stuff on the side. Jamie had experience with, building brands, helping. I think he helped a friend build a website, trying to, push was it a glass company or something like that?
Yeah.
It was like
glass art blowing, whatever.
Art. Yeah. So, we both kind of had different, different things that all are cultivated in this. He reached out one day, wanted to, asked about doing a YouTube podcast and jumped on it right away. And it's from there, it's taken off. We've gone through a lot of changes, started out using Zoom. Content was pretty boring, not going to lie, but we had to get used to the whole, bouncing ideas off each other, talking on over cameras and recording stuff. Then eventually made the switch to StreamYard after Jamie brought that one up. And that's the platform you're seeing us on right now. It's been a crazy first year. What are your thoughts on everything, man?
Yeah, man, I agree. Like you said, at first it was a lot of learning, and especially for me, because you were like, when we met or whatever, I saw Casey and he was making his own YouTube videos and talking to the camera and stuff like that. And that was something I couldn't even think about doing. And even talking on the camera right now, like I'm doing this second, is something that I never even thought I could do. And I wanted to learn how to do it just because I've always been, we both went to school for marketing. That's what we went to school for. So we're both into that. I think we both kind of grew up as shyer kids a little bit, maybe not deaf. So like the idea of talking in front of a camera or talking in front of anything really was scary. But, so that's something I want to get better at, because, you kind of have to, you want to push yourself outside your comfort zone in those areas, especially in this digital age. And there was an area I needed to get better at. So that's one of the big reasons why I actually want to start this. So it was pretty obvious to me, like something I wanted to start with something that I was passionate about, which is easily for me. It's the Vikings. It's Minnesota sports in general, but easily the Minnesota Vikings. I can talk about the Minnesota Vikings all day long. Like, I don't care who it is, who I'm talking to it with, whatever. It's just easy. I don't have to think of what I want to say because I'm excited to talk about it all the time. So it was like a no-brainer. So that's why I reached out to Casey, because he was already making his YouTube videos, talking to this camera by himself. Not even what I'm doing now, which is talking to him, talking to you, the people watching, and you at the same time. It's kind of a weird hybrid thing, I guess. But it all started from watching you do that. So, and I knew he was a Viking fan from, we buddied from college. But then after college, it kind of was like, you went off, did your own thing. I did my own thing. And then I saw you doing that. And I was like, I know you'll be down to do a Vikings thing. So I reached out to you, and then, we got it going. And at first it did, we had to just feel it out and things like that, because you're just trying to learn how to talk on camera, and, people watching you and listening to you. And after a year, it's just pretty crazy, because now we've kind of created something where we develop something where we get to talk about the Vikings, and then some people watch, and some people might actually be interested to hear what we have to say. And as a huge Viking fan, I think from any Viking fan out there, you when it comes to football, you have your opinions with sports, and people who are big Viking fans, they want people to hear their opinions. Like, it's part of it. Like, like, that's why we do this. And that's why we going forward, we want to keep getting all kinds of Viking fans on and all that, just because we know, people want to be heard and their opinions to be heard when it comes to sports, because we all have our own separate opinions. We have our feeling about, guys like Kirk Cousins or Justin Jefferson, and we want our opinions to be in the conversation. So it's pretty cool to start something like this. And a year later, there's real people out there who are interested in what your opinion is on this,
I'll tell
So I
you
think
what,
that's
the
cool.
talking to the camera thing, it's a tough gig. So like when I first started making my other channel, Granda Panda, by the way, go subscribe to it if you haven't already.
Yeah.
Gaming content, all that fun stuff. It's just something I do for fun. But like my first episode, I had to redo the intro like 20 times. I actually put a little clip at the end of it of all the mistakes I made, just because, like you said, talking to a camera, even with another person there, if it's like your first time doing it, it's hard.
Yeah,
It's a
but it's a
difficult
skill
thing.
you do get better at. Like you do get more. Like I swear to God, when we first started this, I thought there's no way I'm ever going to get used to talking on a camera in any shape. It just seemed like like climbing a mountain away. And now I'm not. I still have a lot better. I can do a lot better at this. Um, but it has improved, and I am feeling more comfortable. You
Yeah.
know.
The biggest thing for me, because with video games, it is what it is. You know, everybody like they watch them and watch a video, people like it, they do whatever. But when it comes to sports stuff, the thing that I've really gotten used to this first year is when the internet's a mean place. When someone has a different opinion than you in the comment section or on a tweet, they'll let you know about it. So I've gotten a lot better at
Yeah.
handling that aspect of it, where like I see someone that says like you're an idiot, you don't know what you're talking about. My first instinct is like, all right, let's go. But then I
Yeah.
look at the comment section, Jamie's already got on it. He's like, yeah, well, what are your thoughts? I'm like, okay, that's
Yeah.
fair. That's a smart
Yeah,
way to play this.
I've had my experience already when it comes to dealing with
Yeah.
people in comments and
Yeah.
things like that, you know.
But for the most
So it's
part,
pretty good.
though, you viewers of the GG Sports podcast, everybody's been loving. We get a lot of very nice compliments about
Oh yeah.
the production, the channel itself. So we really do appreciate that. I mean, 503 subscribers we've got in the first year, which I thought would never happen. I mean, I knew YouTube was a slow process, especially with all the amazing Vikings content you can find here on YouTube and other
Hmm.
platforms as well,
Hmm.
like Facebook and all that type of stuff. Twitter, you can find a lot of people that, they might be high ranking guys that know a lot. They might get more analytics than we are. We're just,
Yeah.
we're mainly
Yeah.
opinion based here on the channel. But,
Yeah.
the fact I thought it would be a much slower process in this, but with different techniques, we ended up reaching the 500 subscriber mark. You start getting monetized at 1,000, so we're really pushing for that right now.
Right. Right.
But
Yeah. So
man,
subscribe if you're still watching this.
yeah. But
um.
I thought that 500 subscribers in the first year was going to be a big task, but
Yeah.
we
No,
got there.
it's yeah, and even saying that, like, a lot of the first year in our first season was trying to, I mean, we're still trying to figure this season coming up is going to be a lot of more figuring ourselves out and exactly what we want to keep doing moving forward. But the first year was just getting on every week and just doing it, being consistent every single week. And that was the most important thing. We didn't worry about how good we were doing or anything like that. And that being said, like the whole first season of us doing this, we had like 34 subscribers. We weren't really paying attention to it too much, but nothing crazy. I think it was 34, right? And then we started, trying new things and doing a lot more other things. We started getting more comfortable. So we're talking from July, end of July, all the way till January. I mean, we're talking about almost half a year, and then in the last 6 months, we've moved to like 500. So we've been able to move that wheel a little bit and get a little momentum. So that's the thing, man. I mean, coming on, staying consistent, and not really caring too much about subscribers and stuff, I think
Right.
and obviously we have tons more to go, but
Right.
still.
Well, then especially, we saw the outcomes of an off season, and just like you're gonna notice the viewership numbers take a hit because a lot of like the big Vikings YouTube channel, bigger I'll say Vikings YouTube channels with tens of thousands of subscribers, they still get their views, but smaller channels really don't because it's hard to find. And with our content, ours is a little bit longer than some of the other channels I've seen around. So, to try to get somebody in an off season where the news isn't that big to watch a 20-minute video, it's tough. And we're seeing that, so you got to just keep
Hmm.
pushing through it and realizing that when it does come to good information and good stuff that people can watch and
Yeah.
listen to, it'll start to come around. And like you said, it's just kind of like the whole realizing what position you're in and not paying too much attention to it if you can do that. And that's been something I've learned too, is like it's hard to watch the viewership stay low and those subscribers not grow, but it's just the realization that if you keep doing what you're doing and keep pushing it and don't give up,
Yep.
at some point it'll happen. And it really has. So I'm
Yeah.
excited
It's
to get into some good information here coming up to training camp.
right. Right. Yeah. No, it's so exciting. Like this first year was crazy because it is just figuring out, and you have to learn how to handle the off season. And the lack of content, like just this past July was, I mean, there's just not a lot going on in the NFL or just in sports in general besides baseball. And just like that's what's cool about the first year is like everything's different. You're learning everything for the first time. And when it comes to sports, there's a season where they're playing and it's easy, and then there's a part where you don't have as much. It's just crazy to go through it. So that's what's really exciting about going into our second season is it's kind of like we already went through, we know what to expect, at least to some extent, for an entire year. So going into this season, we kind of can come up with like a mental game plan a little bit better, to kind of just attack it and do it better this time around, I guess. But
yeah. And going into the second year, there's a lot more to be excited about. Few things we've done here. We have I'll call it a mini partnership with the Purple Pain forums. You go check them out. They're an online forum based site. A lot of great information over there. They promote some of our stuff. We put their put their website link in the description and bring them up from time to time. We've had Dan chat from there on our podcast before. He'll probably end up being on a couple more times throughout the rest of the season here. A big thing we've done as of late is we partnered with the Purple Code over on Facebook. Thursdays are going to be our day. We'll have one of our videos. It's not going to be on YouTube here, but it'll be over there. So make sure to go give them a follow, check them out.
So go check. They have a really good Facebook page. That's their main thing is on Facebook. So go check out the Purple Code on Facebook. Sign up in there, and then come check us out on Thursdays, beginning
August 13th.
August 13th. So the Thursday before the preseason starts, we're gonna get rolling with them. But that's another thing too that's really cool about doing this podcast or whatever is like especially this first year is, we're just trying to figure ourselves out. We're just trying to learn how to gain subscribers, all these things. But other people, and then another cool thing is, other people pay attention, and you also, of course, you reach out to other people as well, and you can kind of create these little connections with people, and you get them on your podcast, and then they might like what you're doing and reach out to you and kind of create like little opportunities to work together with them and help cross promote. And there's just like new opportunities that come from keep doing this, and we've seen it ourselves now. Like we said, we're going into a season with a Purple Code, which is obviously a far, they're a lot further than anything that we are or whatever, so that's really cool. So that's another thing I wanted to bring up too, that because that's how we kind of been looking at this whole thing is we kind of look at it like we're a football player. This last year, we felt like we're just going into our rookie year, and this is kind of like our sophomore year. Obviously, we're pushing for no sophomore slumps, but it's kind of how we look at all of this. And the off season is to learn, and the regular season is like, game time. And it's kind of cool to put it that way. And I think it's kind of been a way to motivate ourselves, and limit our expectations and not try to, get them too high. We're like, oh, we're not getting subscribers. Like, let's quit,
Right. Yeah, exactly. And then we've done work with other guys too, like Purple Pocket Podcast.
Yeah,
started recently back in March, and he's been growing fast. We've done some stuff with him as well. Yeah, I mean, obviously Purple Code, we mentioned that. We had SK from Purple Code on our podcast one time. So a lot of collaborations like that. We're hoping to do a little bit more of that in the next season coming up here. So
I did actually want to do a little sneak peek, because going into the next season, one thing I'm going to really try to do, because we're going to really ramp up bringing guests on our channel. But one thing that we might try to do, and if you're watching and see if this is a good idea, but we're going to start reaching out to podcasters from other teams on game week and try to get them on and kind of, get them on and see what their opinions about the upcoming game is. And maybe a little bit of shit talking. It's always good to have shit talking. Depends on who's on or whatever. But that's something that we want to try to do, is not just get other Vikings podcasts on, but also other teams podcasters on, and kind of create like a game day conversation type deal. So
to close this video out, let's go ahead. Favorite thing that happened, top thing that happened from the first season of the Sports Podcast. Jamie, go ahead. What was your top moment?
I would say I'm going to give the hardest moment that could be good in the long run. But also, man, it's kind of hard to say favorite, so I'll say the hardest part was the season. We had high expectations, and it didn't really go the Vikings' ways. High expectations for the Vikings. So then obviously it's a lot easier to probably create content around a team that's doing well compared to going for one that's like not meeting expectations. There's this whole thing with Zimmer going on. So it made it kind of hard, which is kind of good that from our first season, we got to go through something that was a little bit more difficult from that standpoint. This season, hopefully, expectations are high, and hopefully, we're winning games, and it's just more exciting. So that part's, I guess, is good and bad. But the good thing I would say for us, man, I wouldn't say it's like the most exciting thing, but it really helped that Mike Zimmer got fired and we got KOC and Quezzy. That whole situation happened. It turned like from a content creating, it really brought excitement to this offseason. And I think for probably most content creators with the Vikings, like I think that was exciting because it gave us so much to use for information so we could learn and get better. Because after the season, we kind of, we turned things around. We did things differently to try new things, and we had the content to do it because of the new everything that's new for the Vikings. And it's created just an excitement going into the season.
Yeah. Mine would have to be, I love draft season. So getting to go through the process of doing a mock draft every week, and then like
I agree.
going through the draft, all the shocking things that happened during the draft that in Quasi's first NFL draft, and getting to talk about getting to kind of discuss our feelings on his moves as well as the players we actually did. Because, fans do these mock drafts all the time, and you never know what's going through the mind of an actual NFL GM. So when these things happen, I thought it was super interesting to see the process and just get to talk about the picks and talk about our thoughts and have a place to put that out there.
Right.
I thought that was, I really enjoyed that part of the offseason.
Yeah, I agree with you. Actually, that is the greatest part. And not even just like everything you said, like, and being able, like, there's no question, being able to watch the draft and then be able to talk about it and people like listen to what you say. Like it is fun because some people, like I said already, like it is people, you want people to hear your opinions. Otherwise we wouldn't be doing this podcast.
Right. Yeah.
When it comes to Vikings. And I know there's other fans out there who also want to do that. And we would love to have you guys on so you have the opportunity to. But I did also love that we dived into so many of the players this year. Like there's no question out of my whole entire life, I've never dug into a draft as hard as I did this year or the players. So it was like we went through a lot of players and really dug into how we felt about them and stuff. And then being able to go into the draft and seeing players that we liked getting drafted late or earlier. And, you kind of create like a list of like your own big board in your head kind of, and see where those go. Cause you kind of get to see like if you're kind of have a similar opinion to some GMs or not or whatever. So I thought that was cool to be able to watch a draft unfold with actually having more knowledge on the players than usual.
Yeah, for sure. I really enjoyed draft season. I'm going to enjoy it for the future. So I'm excited to see.
I mean, I already loved it and it's better now. It is better now.
Yeah. Well, as the sunlight shines on my face and I start to look like a ghost here, I think we'll call this episode a wrap. So thank you for joining us for our 1 year anniversary episode. And we're just going to keep on rolling. And year 2 is going to be even better. I'm excited to see where it goes. So if you guys enjoyed this video, show us a love, drop a like down below. Let us know in the comments what your favorite. Let us know in the comments what you think of our podcast over here. Tell your friends about it.
Nice.
Or if you want, or if you want to drop a favorite moment from this first year of GG Sports Podcast, go ahead and do that down there. You can also check out some of our other videos we have done using these links right up here. Most importantly, though, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell, get notifications for when we post more of our videos, and we'll see you guys in the next episode of the GG Sports Podcast.
Skol Vikes.